All right, welcome to another episode of Till the Dirt. This is the Shahs of Sunset rewatch, where I, Tommy Feight, rewatch old episodes of Shahs of Sunset featuring my wife, Mercedes Javid, and we talk some shit about what we saw, what we didn't see, and all that good stuff. I actually have a great guest today, or a great co-host. It's a day one dirty. Lisa, introduce yourself. This is what, your third rewatch with me, or your second?
Third time.
Third time. All right.
Third time.
Introduce yourself, Lisa.
So I'm Lisa Foster. I love the Shahs of Sunset. And I love doing these rewatches because I never get tired of watching this show.
All right. Good stuff. That's my type of girl. Um, so this episode, well, it's season 4, it's episode 2. So now we're going to start to get into what's going on a little bit in the season. The first episode, we saw the new cast members. We got introduced to Asifa, Bobby, Shervin, but we still haven't really seen that much of Shervin. And where everybody kind of left off, everybody seems to be in good spirits with each other, except Mike seems to be on the outs with kind of everyone, just because apparently he's jumped knee deep into his relationship with Jessica, and he's kind of pushed them off to the side. I think it's more a matter of him trying to separate the two, because he lives different lives, and I feel like he lives a different life with his friends that he does with Jessica. At the same point in time,
Yeah, he hasn't been able to mesh two worlds.
yeah, he definitely seems to be playing two different worlds. I also think that when it comes to Jessica, I think that he blames a lot of things on the shots, right? They're this, they're that, the other. So she gets a bad interpretation of them. And I think that he tells the Shahs, I can't really hang out because of Jessica. You know what I mean? So like he's kind
He
of,
plays both sides of the fence for sure.
yeah, that's my impression. Um, scene one, we see Mike and Jessica. They now, it looks like they're living together. She's making him breakfast. Mike seems to be very old, like old school, and not a good way. And I'm not trying to tell you, like very idealistic of like what men are supposed to be and what women are supposed to be. Um, but not necessarily, but just taking out the good parts for him.
Well, she asks him to help her make the bed, and he totally ignores her and
Five or
does
six
it.
times.
And then he applauds that she did it
But
well.
that means he heard the 5 or 6
Right.
times. You know what I mean? It means he heard her and then couldn't wait to say you did. It's like this is the things that you are supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Which
Well, and then he tells her,
make
flat
me
out says, make
breakfast.
me breakfast.
Yeah,
Another job for her.
yeah, and she's
He's
doing it.
assigning roles.
She's fucking doing it. Like my wife wouldn't do that if I balked at her like that. But to her, in her defense, I don't like being barked at like that either. And
Yeah,
I don't necessarily feel like the gender roles. I mean, I'm not fucking like, over the top crazy like it's got nowadays when it comes to gender. But I
right.
also don't feel like, I like to cook. What I mean? I'm a much better cook than my wife.
So
It's
does
not even a
Rick. And I
comparison.
love it.
I make our bed every day. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it's like to me, that's from the book "Make My Bed" from the Navy SEAL, which is great. Where it's something that I accomplish right off the bat. So it has nothing to do with like I think it looks nice. It's like, oh, let me do this so it's done, so I could get on the path of doing other things. So
exactly.
I don't necessarily, he looks like you could tell if he had to make his bed he's gonna rant and stomp his feet because like he doesn't feel like he's supposed to be doing that. Either his mother's supposed to be doing it for him or his wife. And that's just
Exactly.
yeah, it's not a good look.
She does she does kind of delegate though. She was delegating a lot of errands to him, and it was for such a young girl. I think she's young anyway, a
Yeah, when
lot.
this is going on.
Is she in her
Yeah.
20s?
Think so. Think so.
She's really mature, I think, for a girl in her 20s.
That's why
And
the last thing, the last check mark is this ring. You know what I mean? She feels
yeah,
like she's got everything else going, but I want to get married. It's like that's the next thing. I want to get married. I want to have a kid. I'm
right.
mature. Like you said, I'm a grown up. I got a nursing degree. I'm responsible. If you need meals, I make them. I clean up, keep a nice house. That's the next thing. Where's my fucking ring, man? Where is it? And Mike is
Yep.
still like, whoa. But
And I feel like he has a lot of relationship issues right now because I think internally he's a nervous wreck.
Oh, for sure.
He's a
For
he's a
sure. For sure. I also think
because
she had a
she's doing every single thing that
yeah,
he
no,
would want
he
her to
says it
do.
later. I don't want to jump to it because it's like to me it's the crux of the episode when he basically says every barrier I put in front of us, she smashed through. Like he's literally throwing shit in front of her and she keeps coming. But
You're
she makes
right.
a great point, that these people bring out the worst in everyone. And I could see how outsiders would think that because they fight terribly, dude. They fight terribly. Like my wife last night had an argument with her mother, and I get it. Her mother is fucking like sometimes so over the top. That I'm not even talking about being the meanest. I'm just talking about dealing with her is like her hair's on fire all the time. And you can't the function if you got showings and you have listings and you got to fucking write an offer on a property. If you got shit that you got to do and your phone just keeps ringing off and the other person on the other end is hysterical about nothing. You know what I mean? Like the thing, whether it's something or nothing, she's hysterical. So it gets very difficult to mitigate and like know whether or not this is a real thing. And I have to like take my focus and attention off of what I'm doing now that's
Right.
important, or whether or not this is just one of her things. And she went through a day of that, right? And like that's frustrating, and I get it because her mother, like, I've never dealt with anybody like Vida in my life, and she's getting older now. So like a conversation that might have took an hour in the past, which is already enough, now takes almost double the time because you got to explain things twice. So I get how frustrating it could be. But then when my wife fought with her, she said such horrible things to her mother. And
She goes
that
from
her mother,
0 to 100.
yeah, that her mother hung up on her, and like I again, let me
Or
preface
no,
this.
no,
I
MJ, yeah, MJ.
understand that my wife went through a full day of that. We're talking 8, 9 hours of that while she's trying to do her job. Very frustrating, but still, it doesn't excuse the level that you go to, the words that you say when you are mean and you are mad and you are frustrated. I get all the other reasons, but you got to be better because otherwise you're doing the same shit. You know what I mean? Like you're no better if you're going to talk that fucking terrible to your mother.
I
Like
I agree with I understand what you're saying, but I mean this was probably hours and she had it like up to
a
here.
hundred percent,
And
a
it,
hundred percent. Like I said,
I
I
don't know,
preface
maybe
that.
the answer is to put the phone on silent
Yes,
till you get through what you have
yes.
to accomplish
There's got
because
to
at
be
that
better than
point
that. The
she had to
answer
be
can't
so
be her.
rattled.
Yeah, the answer can't be that you are going to curse your mother out and make her like that. That can't be the answer because then you're no better. Like you said, it's easier said than done. But in the moment, yeah, there's got to be something. Whether it's like, you know what, I'm going to fucking explode right now. I'm not going to take that phone call. I need it to sit for 10 minutes or so or
Yeah,
whatever. But it's definitely not. Let me pick it up because I'm aggravated. Now I'm looking for a fight. You know what I mean?
right.
It's not the way. So, like, I get where Jessica is coming from to go full circle, where you see they fight like people that I've never seen before. And it's different because where I come from, when you cross a line, we're going to get physical. You know what I mean? We're going to get physical. We're going to duke it out. We're going to go outside and we're going to roll around on the front lawn. They don't. They just say terrible things to each other. And then it's like, this is normal when it's not. And then no one apologizes. Like where I
Right.
come from, we still haven't rolled around on the grass yet. You know what I mean? So until you apologize, I'm going to be waiting to fight. You know what I mean?
Big
So
difference.
where
Yeah.
they just kind of moved on, they just, Monday's now Tuesday. You know what I mean? And so like for her, for Jessica, I get, because for a man, it's crazy. I get for a woman where it's like, wow, these people are the worst, but it's not. They're like that with each other. They're not like my wife's not like that with people at her job. If she gets into a
No.
fight, you know what I mean, or an argument, you know what I'm saying? She's not like that with Jeff Lewis or like the other chumps if they have a disagreement. But she's like that with me. She's like that with, other people in her
With the
that are close
inner
to her.
circle,
Yeah,
the innermost circle. Yeah,
yeah,
but I do want to clarify something.
go
When
ahead.
I said goes from 0 to 100, I did not mean MJ because I think MJ takes it and takes it and takes
Yeah,
it and takes it, and then
yeah,
she,
yeah.
like anybody would expect.
Yeah, yeah.
I meant there are people with a short fuse. I think
I
that,
am. I go from 0 to 1. I even said it to her
yeah,
because, like,
Jessica has a short fuse.
her mother is hysterical on the phone with her, right? And I told her while that was happening, I'm like, well, I feel bad for you because between her and me, you get yelled at a lot throughout the course of the day. Like I'm not yelling. It's just that's how I talk. But if you're taking it, it might feel like you're getting screamed at or talked to, not or talked at, not talked to. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
so and her mother's even worse because her mother, like I said, I might be loud and whatever, but I still have a semblance of going on. I'm not emotional so much in the conversation. Where once a mother gets emotional, she doesn't even make any sense. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And everything is like the worst case scenario is going to happen. Where you could take a spark and all of a sudden the whole fucking town is burning. Where
Well,
where she goes mentally, and it's like, whoa,
yeah.
lady, relax.
To your point, though, most of the big blow up fights on this show, I have to rewind it minimum of 2 to 3 times to make sure I'm even getting it because it's weird how it just happened so fast like that.
Blows up, blows
Yeah.
up.
And I have to
Blows
go
up.
back and say,
And it's
okay,
because of
who said
pride.
what to who?
It's because of pride. It's because they don't want to look bad on camera. It's because they don't want to back down. Like I said, whoever came up with the idea of let's do Jesse, let's do Persians in LA. If he was just throwing shit against the wall because at the time the Kardashians and Jersey Shore and they had some, so why not Persians? Hats off. But if he really fucking realized what he was onto, that's why it's like it's on another level because I have a Persian accountants, right, that are my clients. So they're not in this world at all. They have nothing to do with it. They watch the show, whatever. And I've asked them, I'm like, what is it that it's not just the cast when it comes to Persians refusing to admit that they're wrong and refusing to apologize. And he says a lot of that, especially, traces back to the revolution. And when they came here, they got picked on a lot of them, and when they were getting like
I'm sure.
they're a confident bunch and they had to like double down on some of the things, right or wrong,
Yeah.
indifferent or whatever. It's very difficult for them. It's like a slight against their honor to admit that they've fucked up. So like when you have a crew of that, it creates for great TV
And
because
no, right, because
yeah,
nobody's
no one's ever
apologizing.
wrong, right? No one's ever wrong, and we'll murder each other and prove that we're not wrong. So I guess so. Again, this is a long-winded. Just we didn't. It's the first scene, but I get what Jessica meant, and she's right. But I also understand how it's not necessarily the same thing when you're in it. You know what I mean? Like that's sometimes I have to remove myself because like she'll say shit to me where it's like, yo, man, I can't believe this lady said that. And it will weigh around on me. But then I'll see how they talk, and it's like, that's just how they are. Now I can
How they
easily say
talk,
that,
right,
but it's a lot worse in the moment. You know what I mean?
right.
But then we go to, Asa, they go to um uh
Asa's
Asa's
house.
house
Yeah.
and they're just kind of all shooting the shit. And Then Gigi, this is when I've been waiting for it to come out, where she accuses Mike of fucking her in
What
Turkey.
a bombshell.
Yeah, yeah. But
I did you
Reza seems
see
to be the only
every
one who thinks this
face?
is a big major deal. The other ones are kind of like, hey, whatever, you work it out, you know?
Yeah.
But it
I
is a big
mean, it
deal.
could go either way. I mean, I don't like to be wishy-washy about the topic, but obviously this has been like festering with Gigi for a year, about a year,
Yeah,
and she hasn't let it go. And MJ actually is the one who called that out. She said, "You need to have a conversation with Mike because Turkey isn't over. Like it's been a year, but it's you've internalized it and you're having a hard time dealing with what he did because either you look at him as a big brother or um, just the fact that maybe she did feel a little violated by him trying to
yeah,
whatever get on
yeah.
top of her. She hasn't let it go. I do feel it's hard to not know what's coming. I do feel bad that she hasn't had the conversation with Mike privately, like
Definitely
before
done.
talking for
Yeah,
them. Um, and even to just protect Jessica, but just to get her feelings out. Like, I hate what you did. I know what you did, and I'm not going to forget it. But, she needed to have that conversation with Mike, I think.
yeah.
But maybe she couldn't.
I don't think it looked good either. How close they were on the trip. You
Right.
know, like you shouldn't be feeling
She's
anybody,
feeling her
whether or not they have
thong.
panty line or not,
Right,
when you're
right,
talking about getting
right.
engaged to, like, you know what I mean? Like that's not so, like, no matter what happened, he said, she said, whatever. I know that's not cool if you're going to be
Right.
getting married to someone.
Right,
That's not, you know
right.
what I mean? If
That's not something you do.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
guaranteed, if he saw video of Jessica in, Cabo or fucking
Right.
France,
Oh,
and
he'd be
some dude
livid.
that's her friend, whatever. I'm not saying just some random guy, but some dude that's straight that Jessica knows her whole fucking life is sitting there playing with her underwear. Mike would have a problem with it. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Because
So,
he's
like,
the
forget
alpha
all the other
male.
stuff and the other evidence that might come out, might not come out. I'm just looking at that, and that's not, like, it doesn't look good on Mike. And
Right.
not where the scene before, he's basically telling her that she's got to do all this shit in order to make him, give her a ring. You know what I mean? Like, you got to make a bed, you got to make my meals, you got to, and oh, by the way, I'm gonna get extra flirtatious with girls that are in our friend group.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's cool. I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's cool, and I
No,
don't think so
me
Mike. Everything wants
either.
it for himself. You know what I mean? Like what's good for the goose is not necessarily good for the gander with
Good for
Mike.
the right.
Um,
Exactly.
they make a pact though that no one's going to bring it up. They're all going to let Gigi be the one to bring this up to light, which I'm surprised because Gigi's not very good at confrontation. She'll get into a fight, but she's not good at being vulnerable and opening up like on a one-on-one. So I
She's
don't
very
know if
protective.
yeah. So I don't know if she's going to be the one. She'll outburst like she did at this dinner when she's like, "Well, he tried to fuck me in Turkey." She'll do that. She'll go high. So I could see that happening amongst them. But she's
More,
not going to be the one to pull Mike to
right.
the side, like you said, and
That's
pull him to the
true.
side and be like, "Yo, Mike, I want to have a conversation with you because I'm still hurt." She ain't the type, dude. You know.
You're right. You're right. That was wishful thinking. That's
No,
not
because
her
that's what we
personality.
would hope that adults
She,
would do, but it's
she's more
not necessarily how
explosive.
this cast rolls.
Right.
Um, then we
Yeah,
go to
she's more of
Asifa.
a reactionary than,
Yes,
to have
yes,
that
yes,
conversation. Right.
yes.
Right.
Then we go to see Asifa and Gigi are moving in together. This looks like it's going to be a match made in a nightmare. Asifa looks like she's a lot, but you can't be a lot when you move in someone else's place. You know, you got to just
That's
kind
what
of
I was thinking.
you.
She was really doling out, like, who's going to clean this mess up? And I need my California king. And I thought, okay, diva for sure. But when you're in somebody else's house, you just roll with it.
When in Rome, dude, you know what I
Right.
mean? You got to do as the Romans do. You can't
But
come in there and start telling people, now
exactly.
you can make fun.
Yeah.
You can make fun of them, I guess, but you can't be barking orders. Definitely not. And I
Right.
sympathize with Gigi because my house, like if I didn't have my wife and I didn't have a son, my house would look just like Gigi's house. That's her house is how my house always was. So like people are giving her shit about it. That's me. When like you got to clean this mess up. It's some clothes in the corner. It's not that big a deal, dude. It's laundry.
Right.
Um, but
I want to
yeah,
make a quick comment about how for a few seconds, I thought, oh, Gigi's going to be explosive. She's going to fight. But it wound up being comical in a way.
yes,
They were
yes.
laughing. It actually wound up being kind of funny, the whole
Yeah, because
scene.
I think Gigi is much less guarded and much more cool and much more open and much more herself when it's just Gigi. Like if it's a one-on-one between the two of them, she'll laugh at
Yeah.
herself but when there's other people and I think she gets paranoid and she gets sensitive. Then wait a second, am I the butt of the joke now? Are you laughing at me? Is it not with me? And I think that she'll go from 0 to 100 in those type of situations where if it's just her and someone else, she's a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Then we see my wife go meet this guy Kaz. She's got too much blush on. Too much blush. This is the type of shit that Vita's talking about. The talking head, she got way too much blush on. Yeah, then I don't know. His room looks like it's like Caligula. I don't know.
It
He's got
was
condom wrappers all over the
disgusting.
house. Apparently
Yes.
polishing friends off in the guest room. My wife's checking out his Johnson. This is a great scene for me personally. Yeah, so as a husband, it made me very proud, but it wasn't that long lasting. And from there, they go to that
Let's see.
ceremony where Mike's like, yo,
Oh,
I hope this bitch drowns, dude. I'm like, I think that's so much. He's like, yeah, I hope she doesn't come out of the water because, again, she's like Frodo in Lord of the Rings, dude. She is on a quest to get that ring. Hell or high water, she will do whatever's necessary. And Mike, even like, he keeps throwing it. He literally said it. Do you know how crazy that is? He said she keeps bursting through every obstacle in a way.
yes.
What's so like that just says that yeah, I am trying my best not to marry this girl and she fucking won't have it. She
I
won't
know.
hear it. She
But you
won't
know
hear
what?
it.
Okay. So when you just hear the words, oh, Jessica's going to convert, wasn't my idea. She wanted to do it for me. Uh, it doesn't feel that heavy, but boy, was that emotional.
Yeah,
That
she
so
couldn't stop because
emotional.
she couldn't stop. Now again, this I'm sure there's part of it where it's like I just said goodnight to my religion, everything I've ever known. And now
Right.
I'm stepping into this new thing and I'm doing it for this man. And does he love me? And is he gonna give me excuse me, you could see how literally overcome with emotion that she was
Yes.
standing
I
there
mean,
on that
she's
beach.
sobbing. We could
Yeah.
all
No,
feel
shaking,
we could,
shaking like
yeah,
that's like again that's a cleansing, that's a therapeuticness that comes through you that you don't cry like that maybe 4 or 5 times in your life.
right.
Where like someone died or you had a birth or marriage, something like that. You don't cry like that just normal. And Mike was looking like he was
That was raw emotion.
yes,
Um, I'm sure she was freezing too, but that was mostly raw emotion. The magnitude and the heaviness of that sacrifice was
absolutely.
incredible. And it's like, all I can think is Mike, I do think Mike realized how serious it was that she converted in that moment.
Yeah, no, I
I
think
think
Mike knows there's no more fussing around, dude.
yeah,
Like,
even though
yes, you
he
have the
didn't
because
say,
he has the ring. That's gonna be the next thing. I got the ring where he's gonna have the ring for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got it. Well, I think he
right,
knows there's none of that. It's put up or shut up time. But I also like she's not Jewish today. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know.
I know she's not
Okay,
Jewish today. You know what
okay,
I mean? So
okay.
like So there's an element of that she was just doing this for the ring. You know what I mean? There is an element of that where Mike was just the guy that she was with when she wanted to take that next step.
Yeah,
So I don't necessarily because I don't see it between them, quite frankly. I don't see the chemistry where like, you could see that spark in each other's eyes. Like I said, with him, he looks like like he's sweating and he's doing this because she's doing everything she's supposed to do. And
right.
I'm gonna look like an asshole if I just tell people it's just not working. One, I wasted a lot of her time and I wasted, like prime years for her to get married, have a baby, all that shit.
Yeah.
Like two, this is what I keep telling people I want. But I don't really want it, you know. I
Just
want to like
wish.
lay. I want to, enjoy the fruits of being on television
Yeah.
for a little bit, you know. And
You
I think
mentioned before that he does at times give the best advice.
yes,
He's so good at helping other people figure things out. When it comes to himself, if he would just be honest, I
yes.
mean, even though it would crush her, man, it would have saved her a
Hmm.
ton of time, energy,
Him
money,
too.
emotion, everything. I mean,
Him
she
too. He would have looked
wasted
so much
so much.
better. He would look so much better if he was said, you know what, I do love you, but I'm just not ready, and you are. You keep telling me, you keep showing me, and but you keep like, I'm not there yet. I don't want to waste
Right.
your time. It would have been a lot easier to do than to just go down this rabbit hole and then cheat on her and find, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
so it's just, yeah, it's not a good look. And then we got
Yeah.
Bobby and Asifa. Um, this is the longest that they've ever not yelled at each other. I promise you that
Oh
scene.
God.
Like I've said, I've never met Asifa, but I've heard arguments. Like I've heard them screaming at each other. There was a time when not first, but like after I was with my wife for a little bit, because it's funny when I got with my wife, they were on strike, right? So the show hadn't been filming, but this was the last season that they filmed. So, like, we were just in the throes of it. We didn't ever really talk about Shahs or the show or whatever. But then once the strike ended and the show started coming back, the dude Bobby was in the picture every day. With my wife, oh, I'm looking to buy this property. I'm looking to buy that property. And I think a lot of that shit was bullshit. I think it was
Okay.
just, be like social with the Shah, try and be like, just be involved and use her for more footing on the show type of shit. That's my personal opinion. I think she
But
might
it
tell you the
wasn't
same thing.
real.
Yeah, I
Right.
think she might tell you the same thing. The only reason I even bring it up is not to like denigrate him. It's just he was around, like, or I was around him a lot for, not hours on end, but like he'd come by, they'd shoot the shit for an hour, I'd hang out, or they talk, and I'd be like there with Toya and Julio because we were walking the dogs. And he would just take phone call after phone call from this broad, and they would scream at each other, dude, like, fuck you, yeah, man. Like, oh yeah. So and then my
I
wife
think
told me that like when they went to I think wherever they go on their trip, but they went on a trip and like everybody on the cast was ready to kill them by the time they came home because they made it uncomfortable for people like just to have a conversation because they were just ready, like even when cameras aren't filming, you know what I
yeah.
mean, like even like all right, let's just save the drama for when cameras are back up, let's just have some breakfast. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
they're just a
My
mess.
my impression of them is that she definitely wants the relationship. He's terrified because they are polar opposites. And I think that some people can be opposite where they complement each other. Like maybe one
My wife
person
and I,
draws
we're
another.
very
Okay, so MJ draws you out a little bit, you reel her in a little
mhm,
bit, and it works, and there's chemistry, and you can just sense the chemistry, and it works. And then it can be so extreme that these two people are like gasoline and fire and should not be near each other. I don't think Asifa fills his cup even a little bit in
yes,
terms of what he wants in
yes,
a wife.
yes,
I think he loves her, maybe. I think he thinks she's hot. I mean, she's stunning, she's
yeah.
gorgeous, but I don't think she's ever gonna fill his cup the
No.
way he needs it.
And I think that going on a show like this is even worse because, again, it's like the Vida thing that I always bring up. It validates behavior in a lot of ways. You know, there, there's always going to be people out there that tell you they hate you, but there's always going to be people out there that tell you they love you too. And if you're getting that validation, then it almost encourages the behavior. So instead of, you trying to take an objective look at yourself and say, I shouldn't be doing this. You almost double down, and they strike me as the type that, or at least Asifa, that's going to double down.
Mhm.
I also think in this scene we get a good representation of, why they're together, like why leaving together. All right, because when they go shopping and it's him and her, it works. But when you
Right,
start throwing other people in, that's when you really start to see problems because that's when, like, the snide remark or the thing that you might say in jest that you think is cute, now she takes as an insult, because you said it in front of Mike or in front of Jessica, you know what I mean? And now,
right.
so like, it's just, yeah, but I'm not surprised they didn't last on the
No, no,
show and in
I'm
real
not
life.
surprised at all.
Yeah.
No.
From there we go to their staycation. They're all racing around to get rooms. That's a real thing. That's how it
Well,
usually plays out.
I was
So
going to
like
say,
they'll
very
always.
reminiscent of all the Bravo trips I've watched. Scene one of a trip is always the room selection.
Yeah, it's
So I
always
thought
good
that was
because my
funny.
wife is late for everything, so we always get the last. We get the broom closet. Yeah, here you go, guys. All right, and she's got six bags. So, um, but then we got Mike and Bobby, and I just thought it was very weird that Asifa was the one making, like, Bobby didn't say anything. He was just kind of standing there while Asifa did all the talking to Mike. That was
I
weird because
know.
he's right there. There's two men, and I'll admit, I thought the way Mike was talking to Bobby, if you're talking to me like that, we're gonna fight, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's telling you, just shut
Mhm.
the hell up, don't say anything unless you're spoken. And I get Mike's anger because Bobby was talking to Mike a way that you're not going to talk to me. Last episode, like when he told him to shut the hell up and he was an idiot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that type of, like, let's take it down a notch. Because that's just, again, that's being personal.
Yes.
Like if we're gonna get personal, that's when these people might get physical. Um, you know, my wife contouring her arms was hilarious. I've seen that many a time. She does that to this day. She thinks she's come up with
Oh
that
yeah,
on her own.
I jotted that down, and I try to contour the face and the neck, and I kind of forgot about that. I'm like, damn, I need to contour my arms. She
Yeah, no,
forgot.
she does it. And she'll just keep doing it too.
And
She'll just
she's
keep it.
serious, but it's comical.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. Now then
How
we go to
about
the
when
kid.
Asifa, I mean, she drew first blood when she was calling Jessica an orangutan and
Yes. Oh,
hyena.
yes. I didn't know. I couldn't read my handwriting. That's what it was. Yes, you're
Oh,
right. Like that's, again, man, like, because people gotta, I don't know. I guess it's also the way they grew up too, or you could kind of be insulting and just say words. Where I come from, there's a line in the sand, dude. If you say something, it could be your best friend. You know what I mean? But we're gonna fight. You know what
yeah.
I mean? And then tomorrow we can deal about it later. You
See, Rick
can't
is
call someone an
exactly like
orangutan.
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
Rick
you
is
can't.
like you. He would not, that wouldn't have gone well.
No, no, like I said, and Bobby, I mean, Mike was like, "Yo, Bobby, you need to shut your wife." Because the real talk. Like, I can't hit her. Mike, I don't know, but like, I can't hit her. I'm not, you might not even been in the room, dude. But I gotta, like, we gotta take this out amongst each other because she can't call my fucking future fiance an orangutan, dude.
Right.
You know, and then she cleaned it up and made it seem like she sound whatever, like when you hear that, that does not, that's not a good. You don't start with you're an orangutan, dude. No good.
No,
That's no good.
no.
The cast dinner, and so now it kind of makes sense, or at least not makes, but now I get because like when you tell me that Bobby and Asifa got married and then they got divorced and then they're getting married again. I mean, I believe it when you know them, but it's also there's got to be more to that, and it kind of makes
Right.
sense. They did the Vegas shotgun. The family doesn't approve. Now they want a real wedding. All right, that makes a little bit more sense, but um Jessica doesn't like these people. You could tell. And again, I think a lot of that is, obviously there's a ton of drama anytime you hang out, um, which I saw that too, but I just kind of stepped away. I feel like she involves herself more than necessary. You know what I mean? They
Yes.
are making a reality television show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can't just be like we're gonna go out and have the meals and no one's gonna like talk and have any drama or any conflict. That's not realistic. You know what I mean? So I think
And Jessica several times, I mean, at one point, we're all getting the feeling that she doesn't like them. At one point, she just starts screaming, like, these effing people aren't worth it. Who cares about these effing people? I don't care about these effing people. I mean, she's saying it out loud now.
yes,
And then I
yes.
think they showed up with two Louis bags, his and hers.
Hmm.
I think she did intend on staying, and then she was like, F it. I don't want to stay.
Either
I don't
that
know
or
if that was split
production,
second.
one or the other. Either that or production
Okay.
said, listen, we'd like for you to go home tonight because we don't think Mike is going to be, because that's one of the reasons Mike got shit canned. And even without
Okay.
Jessica, he started not being doing his job. He started not stop being involved, or he'd be on his phone all
Okay.
night, or he wouldn't tell. You know what I mean? So again, I don't know. I can actually, when we do the top of the rewatch, I can maybe find out, see if my wife knows. But yeah, I don't
Okay.
know.
Because I
But
thought
it's
that
one or
was
the other.
interesting.
Because you're right. You don't come there to go home that night,
Right.
especially if you don't like them. Then you want to spend less time with them. You know what I mean? Like, why are you going to go
Right.
out of your way to go someplace to hang out for a few hours, inconvenience yourself, and then come home? You know what I mean? Just I'll see you tomorrow.
Right.
Enjoy,
Yeah.
you know?
So it was either production or she decided I'm out. I don't want to even be here.
Yeah.
And what else did I want to say? Oh, I don't know if I missed this or if Bobby was delusional, but Bobby told Mike that he apologized. I
I didn't
rewound it
hear
two
it. I didn't
times.
hear
I
it.
didn't hear an
I didn't hear it.
apology.
But that sometimes they cut, you know what I mean? So like that could have
Okay.
just it sounded like it was kind of a throwaway apology
Yeah.
anyway. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't say,
Wasn't sincere.
yeah, it wasn't like sincere because especially on TV, like in these shows, if you're going to
Yeah.
apologize, it's going to be a thing. You know what I mean? Like Mike, I just wanted to say the other night I didn't like the way I acted. I talked to you inappropriate. I apologize. That's an apology. Not yeah. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? That's not.
Yeah.
That's
There's yeah,
not
I
because they got
unless
to
that
string it together. They got to string it, and if he just says it like a throwaway, you can't edit that. That doesn't make sense. So like yeah, so yeah, I didn't hear the apology and it definitely wasn't good enough to please Mike because he was still pissed. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna have tension with these guys throughout the season. I don't know if you remember the show or remember what happens this year. I don't. I just know that again, I'm not in it yet. And I never saw this stuff, but I do know because this is when my wife kind of she and I were starting to be together because they filmed all this shit. And like I said, when she and I met, they were on strike, so the show hadn't come out. But this had already been filmed. Turkey had been filmed. Like all that stuff went down already. I mean, obviously, you could see from the show, that. So yeah, like there were some things that I've heard, and that kind of trickle through. And but I don't really know. I know that like I said, Bobby and Asifa are going to scream at each other a lot. I think Mike's going to attach himself from the group. I know he proposes to Jessica this year, and I'm sure that's coming. But it looks like it's going to be some shit this year. I'll tell you
Oh
what, it
yeah.
doesn't look like it's going to be. It doesn't look like it's going to be Reza's drama. It doesn't look like it's going to be my wife's drama.
No.
It looks like it's going to be Gigi, Mike, and everything that and
Jessica.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And Asifa and Bobby that they try to make a thing so far.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm pretty sure it's this season too where Gigi comes out like at a party and says that
Oh no, it
Mike,
is. But Mike try. Yes,
yeah,
100%.
yeah,
100. Again, I've been waiting for that because I know that happened. So I've been waiting for that to happen. And this is the first time she kind of says it. But you're right. That party that Jessica's at is the first time where it like comes out like as a nuclear bomb. So we'll see when that happens. Thank you
Yeah.
so much as always for sitting in here with me, Lisa. I hope you had a fun time. I always have
It's,
fun with you.
it's always fun.
All right, that's
Anytime.
my that a girl. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and hope all is well with everything else.
You too. Take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye.